What's up, everybody? I'm Shawnee, and that's Ty. And this is Hear Your Voice, the podcast where we say literally anything and everything. Nothing is off limits. But today, we're going to be talking about gender norms. So basically, we got this idea from a viewer submission on Instagram. Her name is Your Fave Des. So thank you for giving us the topic for today's episode. Gender norms, basically, the easiest way to sum it up is how society thinks a relationship should be. Typically, society looks as a man or a woman together, and the man is the provider. He works and everything and provides for the family. The woman stays home, takes care of the kids, is the housewife, cleans up all day. That's what, society looks at. And then for gay relationships, typically they want to say it's a dyke or a stud with a femme girl. And that's usually what they want, us to think a lesbian relationship consists of, or even a gay relationship. I'm here to tell you that it's not that all the time. So, we just got to get out of it. And today's episodes is going to cover all of that.
Yeah, so typically what I think of when I think of, gender norms is just that men have to be masculine all the time. And females have to be feminine. And men have to dress a certain way. Females have to dress a certain way. And some of these ideas carry over to the Lgbtq community. And I don't really understand why. I feel like it doesn't have to be that way, but of course it's going to be that way. It's how it is. A lot of aspects of LGBTQ culture, we destroy plenty of gender norms as it is already. But yet we still have these stigmas or stereotypes and what we think is socially acceptable within that LGBTQ community, which I find is weird, because if we're going to try to break these stereotypes and be different, why are we still labeling ourselves and putting each other into different categories? And just today, we kind of hope to uncover some of the mysteries and destroy the way that we think about certain people or how they act and whatever the case may be. I also think that it's really important to do this, because a lot of this way of thinking can lead to bullying and just making people feel less socially accepted. And we want everybody to feel accepted, right? I mean, we want to feel accepted. I feel like we tend to feed into certain social types, it's stereotypes as well. Talking about social types, stereotypes as well. And it puts more pressure on ourselves than it has to. For example, women would say things like, oh, I'm independent, but they still want a man to propose, or want the man to sit right here and pay for everything, or pay for the first meal, or whatever. And that's cool and all, but then we're going to complain about how we're viewed, or how men view us, or how, whatever the case may be, as weaker or as lesser. But we often hold that standard for ourselves a lot of times. And when it comes to men as well, men don't always have to be masculine. They always try to come off as masculine, but then sometimes they're irritated by the idea of always having to hold it down or be strong. And it's why are we putting this unnecessary pressure on ourselves to be a certain type of person or to feel a certain type of way? And I feel like we just end up really kind of destroying ourselves and our own social identity by falling into these gender norms. I also feel like women have it a lot harder than men. Women are often way more susceptible to mental ailments and anxiety and just things like that. And it's I feel like it has a lot to do with how much society puts pressure on us, or how much pressure we get throughout society, and how we perceive ourselves as a result of the pressure that we endure. And we're just making it harder on ourselves. Inadvertently, we're not understanding that by having these ideas, we also carry these ideas into our social identity for ourselves, and we just put unnecessary pressure on ourselves.
And honestly, I agree with everything Ty just said, but women really do have it a lot harder in society, because we are held up to a standard that was set years and years ago that obviously they want to keep bringing, just to keep a way of life, just keep going. But the times change, lifestyles change, and everything's different. 50 years ago, life was not like this at all. 100 years ago, definitely wasn't. 1,000 years, not even close. it's like we as women are, we just have to mold into the standard no matter what we try to do. Society puts us in the standard. Like, you have to, be emotional. You have to, need a man to help you and be there. You can't be yourself 100%. They never want you to be 100% complete on your own. They always want somebody to complete you, or they always want you to do something. And then men are raised to be more masculine, obviously, and they always have to, be the dominant one and run the world. And I don't know if you haven't heard Run the World by Beyonce, but that's a woman's job, because without a woman, there would be no man, and he wouldn't even be born. And then I know a guy's gonna be like, well, without a man, a child can't be created. You're right, but guess what? The woman created you. So again, a woman creates man. It's like we do such, like, there's so many things that women do that men don't do.
Like, they get it easy because they don't even have to, like, push out the baby, though. So
they don't have to push out a baby. They don't gotta go through a 9-month pregnancy, and on top of that, they ain't gotta go through a period. Like, that's the worst. Like, if you felt, like, honestly, some people have horrible period, like, pains. If you felt like an ounce of it, you would not be able to handle it. I watch videos on YouTube where guys, like, do, like, a pregnancy simulator.
Yeah,
or, like,
labor pain.
Like, how it hurts to give birth, or, like, even for a period, they have, like, a period cramp stimulator, and they're like, damn, this hurts. And I'm like, yeah, because that's what we go through every month until we hit, like, I think, like, 50 or something. Once our bodies, like, stop, like, they just get to a point, they're done. So it's just, like, crazy. And another thing is, another question we had was, can you raise a woman and a man the same way?
I don't think that we are raised the same. I feel like regardless of what we think about ourselves as women, we tend to raise our kids differently, or just hold on to these gender norms. And, like, we know that, like, a single mom, think about it, a single mom, they can do the entire, like, workload of a man, whatever the case may be, take care of all their kids, whatever, right? Nevertheless, their children still grow up with these certain type of stereotypes, like, ingrained in their head. And it's like, why? Like, you see your mom busting her butt, like, to give you everything, but yeah, you still have this idea in society that men are more masculine, or whatever the case may be. And it's just, like, I find that weird, because, like, as women or as parents, you have the opportunity to raise your children to think differently and ingrain these different ideas in their head and just perspectives. And it's important to have different perspectives. It's important to exercise self-reflection and just be open-minded.
Yeah, and honestly, like, you can't raise a woman and a man the same way. You can't. Because there's things women need more emotional support on growing up. When you hit, like, your teen years, or maybe you hit, like, in 5th grade, some girls as early start their period. When you go through that stuff is, like, especially when you're a kid and you don't know what it is, like, it's really hard. And, like, men don't know. Like, you obviously need more emotional support. And then, men are raised like, oh, you got to be the provider. You got to be her number one. It's like they're raised to be confident and not appear emotional, but they have emotions. And then, obviously, sometimes you just know you can't hold in all your emotions. And so I see a lot of men holding their emotions, take it out on somebody when something goes wrong. And that's what, like, we need to stop. And honestly, like, you could, like, change the view of a child's outlook on a man and a woman in a relationship or whatever, but inevitably at the end of the day, it's their decision, if they want to break that gender norm. But I feel like we just break gender norms in a whole, like, it will just be over with, and then we can finally start learning how to be equal within a man and a woman, and we don't have all these arguments about equal pay or equal rights and everything. And I just wish gender norms just never existed. It would make everything a lot easier.
Yeah, and I feel like what you're saying, it's just like women get more of a pass to be emotional because of all that, because of, like, their hormones and whatever. And it just comes off like we're supposed to be the sensitive ones. We have to be sensitive, and that's part of femininity. But I feel like guys feel as well. but they're just not given that opportunity to be emotional or to show their sensitive side because of the biology of it. I feel like a lot of times.
Yeah.
And often, I mean, it is what it is, but it can end up hurting people at the end of the day. Like, people don't want to sit right here and have to be something that they're not, or get backlash from society for not being the typical or the usual individual.
Yeah, and also like society thinks like women need to appear like more weak. Like we have to be the sensitive ones, you know, we gotta appear like weak. We have to show our weaknesses. Like they push us to the point to where they make us. That way we're able to just uphold the standard that they have set for us. But like, why don't they do that to men? You want to see how confident they are. Why don't you hit them where it hurts and build them up like you're tearing us down? Because you're not building us up. You're just tearing us down just so we stay in this little mold that you created for us. But for men, you're trying to, you know, bring them up. But it's just like, that's not fair. We both should be brought up the same way. And I feel like I just like back to the last question. Like if you raise a woman and a man equally, you could. But the thing is, you really have to put it in their head that, you know, you're a man, you're a woman, but you're the same. You're still a human. You had the same heart, you had the same lungs, you had the same ribs, everything. Like everything's the same inside of you. It's just that outside that's different. But moving on, now we're gonna get to the LGBTQ plus community. So basically, we're already labeled as different in this community already because we like the same gender. And so there's already society labeling us already. And then on top of that, within our community, we're labeling each other, but we don't see that society is basically giving us the push, like, oh yeah, you can be your own community, but you still have to have labels just like we do over here. And some of the labels, if you guys don't know, are femmes, the girly girl. Essentially, I'm a femme. So then you have your bisexuals. They like guys and girls. And for girls, socially, it's acceptable to be bisexual. But then for men, it's like you're just straight gay. You can't be bisexual. It's no way they'll be like, it's no way in hell that you can like a woman and you can like a man.
That's true. And that kind of goes back to the whole masculinity thing. They feel like if you like a man, you can't be masculine. But there are a lot of masculine men that like other men. It's not an issue.
Sure. And then the next one that goes with this is gay, a man who is feminine and likes guys. But also, there are gay men who are not feminine. They're masculine and they like guys as well. But society is like, no, a gay person, if he's a gay man, he's feminine, period. That's all you think. Like over the top bougie, like, oh my God, like they fit them into a mold that's not even close to them. Like, even if some of them are bougie and they're doing it, whatever, that's cool. But a lot of them are not like that. They're not high-pitched voices and being sassy and having attitude 100% of the time. That's not a gay man. That's just a man who likes guys. And then there it goes with the labels. And then same with lesbians, like a dyke or a stud. Like, and I know an old term is bull dyke, which is actually a derogatory term from slavery that they used to describe lesbians. But I know dyke isn't really accepted down south because of that. So like when you call somebody like a dyke from down south, like they go crazy. Like that's basically the essential like way.
Care. Some people don't really care.
Yeah, but the people who do care. The people who don't. And then you also have a stud. So, but it's true. Like then you got a stud, and a stud is basically a girl who's masculine, but not too masculine, but is a little bit feminine. And then you have a stem, which is somebody who appears masculine by appearance, but isn't like 100% masculine. And they might switch it up. They might dress like a girl one day and then dress like a boy the next day. But it's just, there's so many labels in this community. Like, we don't need them. Like,
and a lot of our labels too, they come from like the heterosexual community. They come from like, you know, being masculine or feminine, or people ask like more masculine women, do you want to be like a boy? Do you want to be a guy? And it's just like, why is that even a thing that you have to I guess mirror somebody else. Like, it's always in society, it's always we're labeling somebody off of mirroring somebody else. And it's like there's really no standard person. Like, there's no standard masculine person. Like, it's all a perception. It's all in how we perceive things. It's all in how we consider things to be, I guess, masculine. Like,
has anyone ever asked you that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I grew up playing sports and, like, just wearing boy clothes, and everybody always asks me that, or normally they don't even ask me. They just tell me, like, oh, you want to be a dude? And I had a lot of guy friends and whatever, and so, yeah, I kind of fit into that more, yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I want to be a guy, because I don't. I want to be myself, but I'm not feminine. Like, I'm not.
You're comfortable with what you are. You're comfortable, and like, if I want to go wear guy clothes tomorrow, I could if I wanted to.
Yeah, I've always felt more comfortable. I've always just felt comfortable with who I was and, like, what I wanted. Like, it was something that I want. Like, if y'all don't want it, like, you're not me. You're not me, so it doesn't really matter. But I feel like mostly I got a lot of backlash from family and stuff. Like, they would tell me, oh, you're not supposed to wear boy clothes. Like, some people would tell me you're not supposed to wear boy clothes, or you should wear a dress, or what's wrong with wearing a dress. And it's not like there's nothing wrong with wearing a dress. But for me, hell yeah, it is, because I don't want to wear a dress. Like, that's not my style. It's not something that I would sit out here and be like, oh yeah, my outfit's cute if I'm wearing a freaking dress. Like, no, it's not something that I want to do. So
I can't even imagine you in a dress. Like, that is, like, beyond me. Like, I can't, honestly, like, it's really hard, like, to, like, with my other friends too, who are like, well, you're my only friend who so you're the only one in that category. But still, like, even my other friends, like, it's just like, if they don't want to wear a dress, they don't got to. Like, and sometimes it's just so hard to imagine somebody in something that they never wore. So you're just like, really? And speaking on family who doesn't approve of this stuff, oh Lord, baby. They don't approve at all. Like, and that's fine, I get it. You know, for those who don't know, I'm adopted. My parents are very much older than me, and you know, they were born in a time when this stuff you would get killed for. So I understand their views. I understand they don't, you know, they just don't agree with it. They tried after a very long time of them denying it and everything and all, you know, all that good stuff. But they tried, and I give them that. They tried. At least they showed me that, you know, you're my daughter and I love you. And if this is what makes you happy, I'm going to try to be okay with it. And obviously they weren't, but they know now, and it doesn't matter because whatever. I'm not going to change who I am because who I am makes me who I am today. Like, if I didn't go through all that, I would not be who I am today because I've changed so much over the years, and for the better, of course. But it's just like I had to go through all that to get to where I'm at today, and just to be comfortable with myself finally. And because I used to, like, have to sneak out to go to Pride. And, like, speaking of Pride, they backed up. I'm very upset. I just want this stuff to be over because that was the only thing I was looking forward to in the summer, other than going to the beach. But, like I had to sneak out to go to Pride 2 years in a row. And, like, when my parents found out, they were so mad. I was like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I was crying. I was like, I didn't want you to be mad at me. Like, I was throwing a whole, like, argumentative, like, essay prompt at them. Literally, I felt like I was giving them an argumentative essay because we just kept going back and forth, and I just kept trying to give my reasons, and they was not going for it. But whatever, they got over it. I started going because I started getting older. I'm like, I can do what I want now. So, yeah, I just don't talk about it with them. But, I mean, it's whatever. There's always going to be people that you meet in life that don't want you to be who you want to be. But you have to remember that you are you. There's only one of you. Even if you're an identical twin, there is literally only one of her and one of you. Everything might look the same, but you don't have the same personality. You never do. You're never going to be exactly like somebody. Like, you have to be your own person. You have to be who you are. Like, that's why I just wish we could stop the labels, stop living your life according to labels, because it's just like you put a label on everything. And we're taught at a very young age to put a label. You put a label on a boy and a girl. Oh, girls, you have to wear pink, and for a boy, you got to wear blue when you're born. That's how they identify you. Well, why those colors? And on top of that, why can't, like, you just mix it up sometimes? Like, it shouldn't matter. Like, you're like, oh, I gotta, you're having a girl. You have to plan your baby shower as a girl. Everyone gets you dresses and little cute stuff and bows and accessories. When you have a baby shower for a boy, everyone gets, pants, t-shirts, sneakers or shoes or whatever. Like, it's just like society just makes it that way. And that's what we want. We want it to stop. Like, okay, you're having a boy. Well, guess what? Maybe when this boy grows up and he wants to try on a dress, let him try on a dress. Kids have they have an imagination. You need to let them live. And if they grow up to be gay, you need to love them the same, because when you don't love your child for who they think they are and who they are confident they feel that they are, it's gonna mess them up. Like, it messed me up.
It's gonna be worse. Like, it's a worse outcome. But I've seen a lot more parents like become more accepting, like Dwayne Wade and his son. Which is like that. I've seen a lot of backlash too, and that's crazy. And it's like, it's really none of your business.
And that can actually like damage a child like really early on. Like, even at Dwayne Wade's son's age, I think he's 13, I think. But like, even as a 13-year-old, if somebody tells you, no, you're not supposed to dress like that, you got to dress like this, or nobody's going to like you, like, they're going to take that and it's going to run with them their entire life. You can't and how he introduced his son as trans was perfect. If his son feels like that, who he is, let him be. It's not your life. It's not your decision. You don't have
change. They can grow up and change. Like, it's not like it doesn't have anything to do with you at the end of the day. So it's just like, you're trying to make decisions based off of what you want society to look like or what you want people to act like, and it's like, it just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way, because at the end of the day, somebody else might have a view of how they want society to work or whatever, and it doesn't fit into who you are. And it's always going to be the case. Everybody's going to feel like an outcast if we just keep trying to categorize people or keep trying to make other people do certain things or act a certain way. And it's like, generally, like, if you're a decent person or whatever, just live your life. Just call it a day, because I feel like we bring a lot of that turmoil, that emotional distress into like our own identity. Like, if someone else doesn't like how we dress or what we do, it's just, we think that we should change, but deep down we know that we shouldn't or we can't, because it's just how we are. It's what we want. And my advice to anybody is just, don't let people change what you want. Like, if it's not hurting anybody else, it's cool. It's decent. Like, if you want to do whatever, just do whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to give an example, but like, if you want to wear a dress or not wear a dress, or, go outside with a weird hairstyle, whatever, just do it. Like, it doesn't matter.
No, honestly, and I think like when you do that, like, you're expressing yourself, so you're comfortable, you're confident. And then, it's just like, people want to take that and tear it down. And it's like, you can't do that. Like, don't do it to a child. Like, that stuff that happened to me happened when I was 18. And that stuff still, like, actually, no, I was 19. It was only a few years ago. And that stuff still sits with me now. Even though I got past it and I got through it, it's still going to sit with me. And for the rest of my life, I'm going to remember it. Because I remember what it felt like not to feel accepted. And I felt like I had to, be with a guy because my parents that's what they want from me. That's what I need to do. That's what I've been told to do. They're telling me liking girls is wrong, and I don't need to do that. I need to be with a man. I need to marry a man. I need a man in my life. That's all I hear. And I still hear it to this day. And it's like, no, I'm tired of feeling like I have to be with a man to get your approval. I should be able to be happy and do what I want and be with who I want. And I don't need your approval. If that's my life, that's my life. I don't approve of half the things my parents agree on. And I told them, like, but I can't sit here and change them. So why would you try to sit here and change me and my views? I'm just like, you have to understand, I was born in a different generation and things are different, very different. And you just need to accept that. And, they'll always love me no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter what I like or who I like. They're always going to love me, and I know that. And I think that's what people have to realize. Like, they might not accept you, but they still love you. They still love you nonetheless. And, not everyone's going to accept you, and you just got to get past it in life. But you just got to be the best that you can be. You just don't live by a label. Like, You're not a dyke, you're not gay, you're not a stud, you're not a femme, you're not any of that. You're just you. I'm just me. I'm Shawnee. That's just Ty. That's Ty. Or she's over here. That's Ty. Like, it doesn't matter, because I'm my screen, you're above, sorry. But really, it doesn't matter. Like, that's just her. This is me. And this is our life. Like, it's not that hard. And people just don't understand that, and probably won't for years to come, because we still have hate crimes against the LGBTQ plus community. So,
but like generally, just the tips. It doesn't even have to apply to just gender norms or the LGBTQ community. It can just be general tips just to keep your kind of like perception at bay, to be less biased and to be more accepting of people and ideas and cultures or whatever the case may be. Just try to stay open-minded, try to avoid speculation or assumptions, and just place yourself outside of your comfort zone a lot, whether it be learning something new about somebody or changing yourself in the way that you want it to change, just actually finally doing it. Just always step outside the comfort zone. And it's kind of like the learning zone. I was talking about it in one of my classes, how stepping outside your comfort zone is where you learn the most. And if we're all going to stand in our bubble and just be, just be closed-minded, then we're not going to get anywhere as a society. And a lot of the things that we want to get done aren't going to get done. So it takes conscious learning, conscious correction, and self-reflection in order to create a better society for future generations or whatever the case may be.
yeah, and basically we just got to remember, stop putting labels on people. Stop putting labels on everything, even yourself. If you're in a heterosexual relationship, guess what? You could provide just as much as that man provides for you. And vice versa. Like, you don't have to follow society's rules. Like, you can live your life how you want to. If you're in a relationship, you both provide for each other, I say that relationship going to go farther than one where only one provides. Because there's only so much somebody can do till the other person thinks they can't do nothing, and then they can just up and leave. But when both of y'all providing, y'all are working together, y'all getting it, like, that's how you get the bag. That's how everybody going to get the bag, when y'all work together, honestly. And it's better to work together with somebody on stuff. Like, it's so much easier working with Ty on this podcast than you think, because all the stuff we do together, I would have been doing alone. And it is a lot of stuff. Like, we plan every week, like, up all night on FaceTime, trying to figure out what to do, and then, just like kind of going with the flow, but trying to have like an outline all together. But it's worth it because we love doing it, and it's fun, and it gives us something to do. And even when quarantine's over, then it's going to be even more fun, because then we could actually be physically together and doing the podcast how we want to.
Yeah, I feel like it's just this whole environment is just supposed to be raw and just like honest and just giving you guys something to think about, because I do appreciate a lot of people commenting and telling us what you want to hear, like from us, or our opinions or whatever. And yeah, just keep doing that. Like and subscribe and send us messages about what you think. If you completely disagree with us, go ahead, write it in the comments. It doesn't really matter. Just be open to what we're saying, and I'm pretty sure a few people feel the same way that we do about certain things. So just let us know.
And that's the whole point of this video. We want you guys to let us know what you want to talk about. We have stuff we want to talk about, but we always want to hear what you want to talk about, because you're the one listening. Like, we could sit back and listen, but we could talk about this stuff whenever. But we want to know what you want us to talk about. But a new thing I'm going to start doing is a daily shout out. Today, I'm going to shout out one of my good friends. He's one of my coworkers currently. His name is P.Mills. And you can't see my Instagram, but his Instagram name is Perry Millions. It's all his information going to be down below. He does music. He's a great rapper, and he's overall a great guy. So I need you guys to go check it out. I know hopefully you'll like his music. If you do, I will leave all the links to his Apple Music, his Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube, all that. So yeah. Please like and subscribe and comment what you want us to talk about. And yeah, We'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
Peace.